This video is on grid options and object snapping. First of all, with object snapping and what that means, when I am trying to move this pencil around, it is snapping to this underlying grid and getting stuck in places so that I might be able to get it to where I want it to go, but I don't really have full control over getting it exactly in place sometimes. And if that ever bothers you, sometimes you don't even notice, but if that ever bothers you, you can actually go into some settings and you can turn that off so that you have full control over where you want it to go. Another thing you might notice is that whenever you're rotating your images, I can rotate to these green dots and kind of sometimes in between, but it's still going to snap to a place where it likes it. If that bothers you, if this pencil is rotated too much and you don't like how it's rotated and you want full control over how you want that to look, then you can go in and you can right-click anywhere in the background on your page and go into Grid. And I'm going to deselect Snapped Objects to Grid and Snap Objects to Angles. I choose OK. Now I have full control. I can put this pencil anywhere I want to go, and it's really smooth. It's not going to be all jumpy about how it goes. I can put it exactly where I want it to. Also, I no longer have those green dots. I can put this pencil wherever I want it to go, and I have full control over everything. So if the snapping ever gets to you or bothers you a little bit, you can totally fix that by just deselecting those and then turning it back on if you'd like to, just in Grid again. All right, the other thing is, let's say that you have something and you want all of these objects to be lined up together nicely and neatly. Now there's something called object alignment, which I'll show you in another video, but you can also use it with your grids. So I can go in here and I can go back to that, right click anywhere on the background and choose Grid, and I can say display my grid on screen. Now you can see I have this underlying grid. That's what all those objects were snapping to. But I can now use this grid to kind of help me line things up, get them all in line, maybe have them be about one space away. And that way they're all nice and neat and in a row. You can change those grid options by making your spacing, maybe we'll make it 50 points so that it's a lot wider. Now the only thing about turning on your grid like that, it's great if you want to use it to plot points and do all that kind of stuff. That's wonderful. But if you are going to use your grid and you turn to the next page and you have something really pretty on that page, your grid is still going to show up. So that doesn't turn off when you go to the next page unless you go into that right click in the background, Grid, and then check that box that says display grid on screen. And then you can turn it off. And that's grid options and object snapping.